there's a whole thing with the thing and the what's it. Anyway, so you, sir, were asking a question that they probably weren't going to answer, but go for it anyway.
I was going to say, my first question was, how much can you tell us about the new film? And secondly, how much of the both things like Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, how much were they scripted, and how much was it improvised / loosened when you were on set?
What was the first part of the question?
How much can you tell us about the new film?
Oh,
the new film.
So number one, nothing.
What is that? Oh.
We'll show you the front page of the script.
Is that the film?
I'll show you the entire script. Ready?
Did anyone get that?
Yeah, we got it on replay. Got it.
Neo could download the whole thing as a PDF.
And the second part was?
And the second
the answer is not much. Like what we tend to do, kind of like, and this kind of flies in the face of like the current vote for like comedy, because you know the Judd Apatow approach, which I think a lot of people use, is kind of like to improvise around something, you know, which is not dissimilar to actually how Mike Lee works. But we would definitely write a very specific script, and then we would rehearse it with the actors. And you know, rehearsal with comedy is not something that everybody does. Like, you'd be amazed at how many kind of comedies people just show up on the first day and actors haven't met each other. But we would do very sort of serious rehearsals. So say we're like Shaun of the Dead, we rehearsed the entire thing, kind of like it was a play, with all of the actors at Ealing's, maybe for like 2 weeks or more. It felt like quite a long time. And then if stuff comes out of that that's good, like there's extra jokes or improvisations.
Frosty always brings stuff to the table, so you know we want to make sure that there's stuff of Nick to put in, you know. So it's important that we rehearse prior to shooting with him.
It's those things that we then write into the script. So then there's one script, and then and mainly because the style of it is very specific and lines recur, and you usually find, if you watch a lot of American comedy films where people improvise, you'll notice that most of the improvisation comes at the end of the scene. And I think what happens with a lot of those films is that somebody will start riffing at the end of the scene, so-called the button, and then that will become a whole 3-minute scene in itself. And I guess with our films, like the starts and ends of the scenes are very specific, and so that's never going to change. That skeleton's never going to change.
We're very anal about the way we write. Like Edgar and me had a monumental falling out the other day about a word, let alone a line. We don't have a monumental falling out, but we argued the toss for about 6 hours about the use of one word, whether it should be this word or that word. And so when it comes to actually saying the lines, it's like, you fucking say what we've written.
A good example of a bit we said about keeping it loose. A good example is in Shaun. Is after like Shaun's been done by Liz, is when like Shaun and Ed are talking.
I don't remember that bit.
What?
I said done. I thought he said done, not done.
But the scene where lady in the pub being a porn star, I think especially if you've seen the DVD, there were no 2 takes the same of that, and part of that was because it was Nick just kept saying new things to make Simon laugh.
And Nick has the dirtiest mind I've ever encountered in my life. It's extraordinary the depths of filth he can descend to. And you'll see it on the DVD with his coccicidal maniac and be it pipe or clam, it's all good.
Nick is on the real chat roulette right now.
I don't know if it's still going. I'm going to go on after this. Is Nick involved at all in the writing process for you guys? Does he come in from time to time or do you keep him involved? Do you keep him in the loop?
He's in LA on Monday, so we're going to get him in for a conflab, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been writing this one, the 2 of us, and we try and involve him as much as possible. I mean, in terms of just actually physically writing it, we've been kind of like doing it together. He's been busy as well, because he's been in a bunch of films, so it's actually one of the most difficult things is trying to actually get the 3 of us in the same room to actually, write it. But we aim to kind of start very shortly if we can.
Okay, cool. Yes, sir. I think you had any